What is up, y'all? This is your boy AJ Trip, and welcome to episode 3 of That's a Shoot. This is also going to be my NXT predictions and Summerslam predictions video. So, let's get right into it. So let's start off with Raw. This is probably mainly just going to be an all WWE video. So, we'll start off with Raw. Ronda's heartfelt speech about the Anvil. Jim Neidhart. For those of y'all that don't know, Jim the Anvil Neidhart passed away early Monday morning. Father to Natalia, Natty Neidhart, of course, legendary member of the Heart Foundation, died because of complications to a seizure. My thoughts go out to the family and friends of Jim Neidhart. And Ronda had some very heartfelt words, I thought, especially about how fathers are supposed to be like, what she said about fathers. If you have not seen it, go try to find it on YouTube. I don't know if WWE has it on their channel or anything, but go look for it. I thought it was so poignant and so special, and it actually seemed like that it came like directly from the heart. It didn't seem like it was scripted or anything. You can tell, and you can tell by the fact that the way she transitioned into her thing with Summerslam, it was very, very awkward. But I thought that because they've gotten so close doing, being together, in training, that Ronda's heartfelt words towards Natalia I thought were awesome. The 3-person tag title match, and speaking of that, they did a heart attack on the Revival. It was the Revival, the B Team, and the Leader of Worlds. The Revival did a heart attack in that match in honor of Jim Anvil. And they've done it a couple times before doing other matches. I think Bubba Ray, when I was on Twitter, and I saw the Twitter, I saw Dash's response to it. And, as to say, yeah, thanks for not understanding what we were trying to do there. Brother kind of said that, well, they just turned a taxi finisher into a maker. Well, thanks for telling us, come on, get with it. So I understand what they were talking about. The B Team won, and then it sets up for the B Team versus the Revival on the kickoff show for the tag titles at SummerSlam. There's been a lot of things over the last couple of weeks about Matt Hardy, and apparently he's got some really, really bad back problems and things like that. And I don't know if it's a full-on out retirement, but it looks like he's definitely going to need to have surgery and take a lot of time off. And even so, Bray Wyatt was talking about on Twitter getting, finding some new music for him, So I definitely think in the next couple of weeks, at some point, we could definitely see a type of breakup possibly between Matt and Bray that leads to Matt's time off. Because I do think that Matt probably would like to go out the way that most people like to go out. I know Jericho a lot of times said he doesn't need a big send-off or something like that. And I don't know if Matt wants a big send-off. He probably would like to say bye, but what he probably would like to do is he probably definitely would like to maybe put over Bray Wyatt so that Bray Wyatt would leave, would be in a better spot after he left. So we'll have to wait and see what goes there. But he's hoping for the best for Matt Hardy in his future. Bobby Lashley came out again, and after what they did with him with Roman, they're now getting back to him. I don't know. I don't know what they decided to do with him. So, really, the thing should have been, he should have been the tag partner at WrestleMania. And then they could have had Bobby Lashley and Braun Strowman as the tag champions. That would have been a dominating, competition. And they really could have did something with that. They decided to go the route of Nicholas and whatever, and they really had nothing else for Bobby Lashley. And so, once again, they kind of had him. Well, listen, well, let's also face it. They kind of had Bobby Lashley, on point because he was with Roman, and and a lot of the fans want anybody but Roman, but they got Roman. And speaking of that, fantastic segment with Roman and Heyman on Monday night. But I agree with many other people who have stated that they really did. They couldn't keep their hands out of the cookie jar, if that is the right metaphor. They just really couldn't keep the hands out of the cookie jar. They gave us this excellent moment when Paul Heyman was seemingly desperate and seemingly everything, and he talked about, in his younger days as a photographer, riding with his uncle Alpha and his father Sika, the Wild Samoans, and he talked about what they taught him. And what they taught him would be the same thing that they taught Roman Reigns. And he said something in Samoan, which maybe is a real thing, maybe it isn't. And Roman, great acting here by Roman. Here's what he says, and has a look on his face of, oh my God, really? Did you see that? And it almost feels like one of those things where that's only taught. That's only taught to people who deserve it, who are worth it, right? If I can make a grand statement, it's like the Thor's hammer. He who be worthy can hold the hammer, right? So only Thor can hold it. There's nobody else is worthy, and that's what you kind of felt from that moment. He's thinking that only somebody who is worthy knows that phrase, and it was good, and it was a good moment, and it should have been left by that. It should have been left with Heyman giving Roman his thing, giving Roman his contract, and then they could have waited they could have waited to like the kickoff show or at the beginning of SummerSlam to actually do the thing where Heyman, it's a backfire. Heyman turns on Roman, and then Brock Lesnar beats down Roman like he did on Monday Night Raw. Now, on one point, they still could do that because this seemed like a setup for Lesnar onto Roman, but they also could easily do something ridiculously crazy and then still have Heyman turn on Lesnar and have this be and have that Heyman versus Reigns thing being part of the rules to go against Lesnar. That would be really one of the stupidest things ever, but whatever. Well, I'll get to Roman and Brock when I get to my predictions. So I'll get to that match in a minute. So and then finally, the last thing to talk about from Raw is the Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose reunite at the end of the show. Good. Yeah, they were somehow able to wait on Dean Ambrose's return, weren't they? They somehow was able to wait until the final minute for Dean Ambrose's return. I think maybe the only thing that would have been even better would have been if they had done it on actual SummerSlam. Because if what they done, maybe what they should have done is they should have had Kurt Angle say, "Well, we're gonna give Seth Rollins at the beginning of SummerSlam. We're gonna come out at the beginning of SummerSlam, and if Seth Rollins doesn't show up by then, to sign the contract, then we know." And actually, then they could actually do the match right there. That could actually be the beginning of the match. But they probably want to put that down somewhere, maybe in the middle of the card, somewhere. This is going to be 4 hours. They're talking about even 5 hours. So whatever the hell. But I would assume that they're probably going to put that match. They should put that match around the 8 o'clock hour, 8 o'clock Chicago hour, 9 o'clock Brooklyn time. So Um, but yeah, good to see Dean back. Shaved his head. He's in pretty good shape. We'll see where that goes. There's been obviously everybody thought that Dean was going to come back and be you know be like at some point turn heel on Rollins, and and that's still available. That's still there for them. I, however, also think that now they might just go the route of keeping them together. Um, keeping them together for a little while longer. Um, and I actually think that might be the best way. The best thing that might happen is to have the turn happen closer to WrestleMania, so that you can have that WrestleMania match of Dean Ambrose versus Seth Rollins. And like I wanted the triple threat match between Rollins and Ambrose and Reigns to headline WrestleMania, or at least be one of the main events at WrestleMania for the Universal title. But I'm not sure if they want to go down that route. So yeah, we're that. Glad to see Dean back. Let's talk about SmackDown now, and so we got a couple of things here. 1 week after I talk about them not knowing what to do with Shelton Benjamin, what do? They put Shelton Benjamin on the show against Jeff Hardy. So maybe somebody's watching here. I don't know. If you're watching, I hope you shared on your social media, and I hope you liked it. I hope you shared it. But more importantly, share it. Share it to everybody. Share it on your social media. Share it everywhere. Let everybody know where you got your thoughts from. So, but no, it probably was a coincidence. But yeah, it was good to see Shelton Benjamin on the show finally. SmackDown opened, however, with Charlotte taking a shot at Carmella, saying that she is a diva in a woman's era, and I thought that was a pretty. I thought that was a good burn. A good burn. I'm always okay with good burns if they're okay with it. I think most of the time they are okay with it. They're okay with it. But I also will say this. I said this. I thought what's her face? Charlotte. I thought not Charlotte. Carmella was getting so good last year. I thought she was so much improvement, and she hasn't. And then whatever. I don't know if it's because of how they're having her work or whatever, but she hasn't shown the improvement, and so she is kind of working like a diva. So it is kind of unfortunate. I think the same thing you can say for Lana, and at this point maybe even Zelina Vega. I think Zelina Vega has to be more trained than Lana, but some of them are still working from a diva's point of view, and some of them are from because they were brought in probably for that reason. I'm sure that this would come. I'm sure that Carmella was brought in for that reason. I'm sure that's what Mandy Rose was tough enough. I'm sure that's what they're talking about. You even heard, in that show, remember, even the Miz saying, Miz saved Mandy Rose because he thought that she she had the look of the WWE. She had the look of a WWE diva, and that she was, that's what she needed to be. So, so that's interesting. But I thought that was funny. So, I'm wondering what they're gonna do with that match. So, again, more on that coming up in my predictions. AJ versus Joe, I thought was very interesting. I've also liked the fact that they really had only one physical encounter. I really liked it. There needs to be more of that. There needs to be more of them not having, of selling a match without having a physical encounter. In multiple physical encounters, and they don't need to be in tag matches where they combine, especially when AJ versus Joe has been done all over the world. No, they keep saying AJ versus Joe for the first time in WWE. Because they know they can't say first time ever. First time WWE. Because they've done it all over the country, all over the world, in other organizations, TNA, New Japan, possibly Ring of Honor, or whatever. So they've done it all over, so they can't say that. So, I think that was smart not to have them come down and stuff each other. And finally, Tuesday was Kofi Kingston's birthday, and they were giving him hell at the live show, and they were giving him hell on Twitter about it. And Big E and Kofi they were doing what brothers would do to another brother. They were BS and talking about how old he is and things like that, and they were photoshopping their their young selves with Kofi Kingston. So it was pretty funny. But a happy belated birthday to Kofi Kingston, one of the all-time greats in WWE. And I think I can say that because he really has been a wonderful performer, and he has been definitely one of the all-time greats. And it is a shame that he has not been able to hold a major title. Hopefully at some point that does change. Hopefully it does change also for Big E, I think, as well. As much as I don't want to see the New Day break up, it might be. I think both Kofi and Big E probably deserve a shot at like holding that that Universal Championship or even the WWE Championship. And there was a rumor that might happen. Actually, might happen earlier this year. There was a rumor that they would maybe turn Big E heel and give him a push with that championship. But who knows what they're thinking now. So it's time for put over or bury. Where I put over something in the world of wrestling and I bury something in the world of wrestling. I'm gonna put over the Daniel Bryan Miz recap from SmackDown Live this past Tuesday. This was incredible. They broke it down into 3 parts, and I loved it. I felt it. It was so good. It was so good to look back on the scenes that they went on to, and it was just absolutely perfect. Once again, hopefully the YouTube account has it up there, or if not, maybe someone else has it. But it was just incredible. I actually go and try to find that. It was, if you have not seen it, it was incredible. Barry, and listen, it's Dave Meltzer, and I'm not gonna bury him for his comments this past week on Peyton Royce. That he's actually been buried enough. Love Seth Rollins. Love Seth Rollins' tweet. Negative 6 stars, Dave. That was incredible. But this just leads me to how, in my opinion, how overrated he is in particular. Some people want to just live and die by his thoughts on professional wrestling. And maybe at one point he was the godfather, or he was like the uncle to everybody else there that wanted to figure out what was going on with wrestling, and he was the go-to source, and things like that. But over time, I mean, really, hasn't he just jumped the shark? I mean, really. I mean, before this year, when he had given Gargano and Cien Almas the 5-star match at the Takeover in January, his last WWE match that he gave a 5-star to was the match John Cena versus CM Punk, in 2011 or 2012, whenever that was. And I'm like, really? There were matches. I mean, there were matches. I mean, even if there wasn't like one-on-one matches, there was that Survivor Series match. That was a couple years ago. I think it was before the Goldberg Brock Lesnar squash. There was that tag match was incredible. That match at the first Takeover in Chicago. There was so many good matches that deserved 5 stars, and should have got them, but he doesn't get them. But those New Japan folks get 5 stars just like that. No. This I would say this. No, listen. Maybe they deserve all of the 5-star matches. I'm not a fan. I don't watch it, so I don't necessarily know. But for me, I think for me, he really jumped the shark once he gave one of the Okada Omega matches 6 stars, right? And he gave that 6 stars. And then the most recent match, I think he gave 7. He gave 7 stars. So you know, and even like I don't know if it's the people at Cultaholic or the people at World Culture Wrestling, but they kind of broke it down whether or not Dave Meltzer has something against the WWE for everything that he's giving them. Like he didn't give Shawn Michaels and Undertaker a 5-star match. I mean, really, it's just crazy. And then there's some of his thoughts on some of the new time, stuff that goes on. And listen, once again, I don't see people like the Young Bucks wrestle because they don't wrestle for my favorite organization. I don't see Joey Ryan again wrestle. I don't see a lot of these independent guys wrestle that he has fun with. And that he really likes. But I do kind of fall on the line of Jim Cornette when I say that kind of need to be let's kayfabe was gone, but still try to add something to it, right? Try to make it some kind of real. It doesn't seem to be that way for some of you guys, especially Joey Ryan and Dick Spot. And listen, I would agree. And when I first saw it, I was like, that's kind of funny, but yeah, really, yeah, that's not anything that should be really celebrated. It really should not be, and he likes to celebrate it a lot, seemingly. So yeah, for me, it's just Dave Meltzer. I mean, it's he. Listen, I for years I have been reading Scott Keith, and I would advise anybody out there who wants to, anybody out there who wants some thoughts on professional wrestling, wants recaps, anything like that, go to his blog, Scott's Blog of Doom. Go there when he recaps shows and do things like that. I think that again we disagree sometimes on these things, but for the most part, I think he's fair, and he's thoughtful, and I think he's much more with it than Dave Meltzer. Things like that, and these latest comments, I think hopefully have opened up the eyes to maybe the world that maybe he's just not the God's gift to wrestling, dirt sheets, anything like that a lot of people want to portray him as. So Dave Meltzer buried. So let's start with the predictions part of the show, the Nxt Takeover show, which happens tonight. We have 5 matches, so let's go through them really quick. Don't make this too long of a video for you, so I'll just go through this really quickly, as quickly as I can, both NXT and SummerSlam. We have the Velveteen Dream versus ESC. This feud began when over in London when they were doing their UK shows, when Dream walked out on EC3 during the match. So this is going to be interesting. I think it should be a pretty good match. I don't know who is that. If Dream walked out, then Dream should be the undoubtedly heel in this match. But I don't know. I have not been watching NXT so long. So, but no matter where it goes, this should be a pretty good match. I'm going to say EC3 comes out with the victory tonight. Then we have the NXT Tag Team Championship. We got the Undisputed Era versus Mustache Mountain, and they had a match over in London that was incredible. Then they had a match on television that was apparently even better. So they tonight they could go the full Monty. They go the full Monty. Maybe they can go so far that maybe Even Dave Meltzer wanted to give him 6 stars. So, but I'm going to say Undisputed Era retains the title. The NXT Women's Title match: Shayna Baszler versus Kairi Sane. This is a rematch of the finals of the first ever Mae Young Classic, and I think Shayna Baszler's been doing a good job. She plays an excellent heel. I think it's really fun to see her. She had from what I remember from the Mae Young Classic up until now, she's improved a little bit. So her selling still doesn't do much for me, but I know some people are okay with it. I would expect Kairi Sane to win tonight. I would really expect that. I would think that Kairi Sane wins tonight. They go to Takeover War Games, and then they get the rematch between Baszler and Sane. And then I would expect Baszler to be a part of the Women's Royal Rumble. And then maybe even make her debut maybe sometime shortly on a Raw or SmackDown. That's what I would say. But Shayna could easily win. They could be making her out to be, a dominant champion. Now a champion. And with the other horsewomen in NXT at the Performance Center, they could easily create a stable there. So we're going to have to see about that. But my prediction will be that Kairi Sane will win. The NXT North American Championship. We got Adam Cole, the champion, going up against Ricochet. This should be incredible. Tonight, all the matches are going to be incredible. I think it's going to be one of those things where you say, well, the women's championship doesn't compare to all the other matches, but I think they're going to do what they need to do, because the way they should have it is Velveteen Dream Tag Championship, put that women's title match in the middle, have this match, and then the NXT match. So Adam Cole and Ricochet. If everything goes down, this should be the match. I think this might actually be the match of the night, and I'm going to say Adam Cole retains due to help from the Undisputed Era, but I think it's going to be good match, great quality wrestling. I expect nothing from the best from these two guys. And then finally, we have the NXT title, Tommaso Ciampa versus Johnny Gargano. This is number 3, the rubber match, the last man standing. Now, this is supposed to be a triple threat match. Unfortunately, Black hurt his groin, so they're taking him out, and now it's going to be these two last man standing. I really don't know what to do here. I really do think they've got a massive good heel in Tommaso Ciampa. But Johnny Gargano he's so over that you almost want him to be the title. But do you want this going on forever? Do you want this feud going on forever? I guess what you could do is that if you could put the title on Gargano, and then with War Games, you could have a team, Tommaso Ciampa's team versus Johnny Gargano's team, and then you can have their rematch, their 4th match, be at Takeover in January. I guess you could do that, or, just trying to spread it out a bit. However, for me, I think this has to end here. And I think maybe it ends with Ciampa. I think right now you got so much good stuff going on with Ciampa. He's the hottest heel in the business. So I think you have to keep it on him until the takeover at WrestleMania, where then he can either drop it back to Aleister Black, or you can put it on someone else. So I'm gonna say my prediction should be that Ciampa wins the last man standing match. Now let's talk about SummerSlam. It was gonna go down on Sunday at SummerSlam. We've got the 2-hour pre-show. We've got apparently it was gonna be almost 5 hours of television. I think one day I'm gonna have to talk more or less about them and their kind of craziness with these things and why they really need to kind of shorten their thing and why brand split is really hurting them more than it really needs to. Things like that. And I talked about it a little bit with the whole them having so much talent that people like Benjamin and Gable can't work on television, get matches every week, or like Ember Moon was off television for 2 weeks, and then because unfortunately Natty's father passed away, she gets work because of that. So it's whatever. But anyway, let's start off with the kickoff matches show. Cien Almas, Andrade, Cien Almas, and Selena Vega are going to take on Rusev and Lana on the kickoff show. I'm glad to see that they now have Rusev and Lana as full-on baby faces, and hopefully they continue on that way because people want to cheer Rusev, and I think they maybe want to cheer Lana because of Rusev. But yeah, let them cheer them. I think that's totally fine. Cien Almas should win, because I think they're gonna need somebody, because if they don't put the title on AJ Styles, on Samoa Joe, I should say, I do think that's gonna be the next guy who gets his opportunity at AJ Styles, and that's gonna be Cien Almas. So they need to keep him going. And listen, like I said, if Rusev is over with the fans, I don't think they can do anything to break down Rusev. The fans aren't gonna let that happen. So I think Rusev can take the fall. Or maybe what they do is maybe once again we have Lana take the fall, but Rusev will lose. So, but I'm going with Cien Almas and Vega. The Cruiserweight Championship match between Cedric Alexander and Drew Gulak. I have not been watching 205. I know people people like, you don't watch NXT, you don't watch 205 Live. Are you really that big of a fan? Well, yeah, I am. I try to watch as much as I can, but there's so much. I want to watch other things too. We got football happening right now, guys. We got a whole bunch of baseball, and we're doing with my Cubs. We got other TV shows that are good. The summer isn't like what it used to be, where nothing was on. They have now summer programming all the time, so it's hard for me to watch everything, and especially when I want to watch other things. I'm trying to do a whole lot of other stuff as well. So I apologize if you feel like I'm not putting all my effort into watching everything wrestling. I'm trying my best, but that being said, to me, I think they've done really, really good with Cedric Alexander as a champion. So I would expect him to retain the title. If Drew Gulak does win, that would be very interesting. I think that would be very interesting. I think this is going to be a pretty good match as well. So, good for them. The B Team versus the Revival. I think they said that it's going to be on the kickoff show, as well. And I talked about the triple threat match. So, I'm kind of stumped because I think you need a face team for the Authors of Pain. So I would expect I'm going to predict the B Team to be victorious over the Revival, because I think they're heading down that lane where they're going to do the old Authors of Pain squash match against the B Team. I think they're going to do that. So now we're going to move on to the main show. We're going to talk about Finn Balor versus Baron Corbin. Again, like I said, I really like what stuff I've seen from Baron Corbin in the ring since he's become constable. I think he's starting to grow, and if he's not continuing, he could become the guy that I think a lot of people thought he was going to be, which is going to be a pretty good big guy heel. You know, he's not going to be a monster, but a pretty good big guy heel that could, you know, excuse me, that could really, you know, take his game to another level. Finn Balor, however, should win, you know, but I would not be surprised if Baron Corbin does win. SmackDown Tag Team Championships are going to be on the line. The Bludgeon Brothers versus the New Day. Now, a couple weeks ago, when I was talking about the New Day and Cesaro match, they had so much. That match was so incredible that you hope they could do this for the Bludgeon Brothers. Because ever since the Bludgeon Brothers have appeared, they haven't done, you know, they haven't had any like entertaining stuff happen, and really, to be honest, they almost haven't been on television a lot. It seemed like. So I'm not sure. Listen, this is probably what, you know, they should put it on the New Day. I don't think it's not helping anything with Braun Strowman. Not the Braun Strowman. That's coming up next. It's not helping anything with the Bludgeon Brothers. So put it on the New Day, and maybe the New Day, and also let's maybe just, you know, get them some work. But right now, right, it's the Usos, Sanity, the Bludgeon Brothers, the Bar, and the New Day. And guess what? 1 week after the Bar had that great match with the New Day, they weren't on television in any form or fashion, from what I remember. So whatever. The match for the Money in the Bank briefcase, excuse me, Braun Strowman versus Kevin Owens. To me here, I think they have to do Kevin Owens here, because like I've said many times before, Braun Strowman, the way they've made Braun Strowman to this heel, he didn't need the damn briefcase. He didn't. And to give it to him was foolishness. So let's rectify that mistake. Let's give it to Kevin Owens. Now with Kevin Owens, there's going to be a lot more intrigue to this, and about when, you know, who he's going to cash on, when he's going to cash in, everything like that. So I think Kevin Owens would be the better fit here for the briefcase. So I would expect Braun Strowman to get himself disqualified, you know, and have Kevin Owens get the briefcase that way. But then I would also expect Braun Strowman to completely destroy Kevin Owens, and that would be a reason why he would not cash it in later, or if a cash in happens later, you know, this Kevin Owens would be, you know, chopped liver for Roman or Braun. Then kind of a title match between Dolph Ziggler and Seth Rollins, and it looks like with Seth and Dean in the corner, and like I said earlier, it looks like they might be going back down lanes where they're going to be tagging. I do expect Ziggler to retain the Intercontinental Championship. You know, I would not be surprised if Dean did turn on Seth, but I'm not expecting it. So this could be one of the things that I think ends up being fantastic. Like I said, they're probably gonna put it at the 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock Central time slot, which for them has always been like, you know, like a main event type slot. So we'll see how that goes. I'm picking off Ziggler to win the Intercontinental Championship. You then have Daniel Bryan versus The Miz, and this is a match that can either steal the show, steal the weekend, or this is going to be a really, really, you know, disappointing bout, you know, for these two guys. Because I think Miz can hang with Bryan, in this area. I think Miz can do some of the stuff, and I think this is going to be incredible, incredible storytelling. Incredible everything, and actually, this might actually be the match that goes on at that 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 Central slot. I really do. So, but this is going to be fantastic. I'm predicting the Miz to win because I think, at least in my opinion, what they should do is that this should be the cause to end up having Daniel Bryan versus the Miz for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. I think that this is what I would like to see. I think the Miz gets one on Daniel Bryan at SummerSlam. I think they have another match at some point later on, this year. Later on this year. Then I think that's, that's something where Daniel Bryan gets a victory. But maybe the Miz takes out Daniel Bryan, puts him on the shelf, for a couple weeks. If Daniel Bryan is still there, still talks about him not re-signing a contract. So we'll see. There's been rumors for weeks that he's going to resign, but there's nothing concrete that is stated coming from him or the WWE saying that he has resigned. So he's resigned. So we'll have to wait and see. But then I think Daniel Bryan's going to have a match later on with the Miz, where he gets a victory. So there's 1-1, and then the Miz is gonna take out Bryan, for a couple weeks. During those couple weeks, he's going to have a match, whether it's with AJ Styles or whether it's Samoa Joe or some other person. He's gonna win the WWE Championship, and then WrestleMania. Daniel Bryan should win the Royal Rumble, and then we'll have Daniel Bryan versus the Miz in the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. At least that's how I would do it. That being, but that being said, like I said, I predicted the Miz will win. But if Daniel Bryan wins, I think they do the same thing. Daniel Bryan could win, and then the Miz could jump him and hurt him and put him on the shelf. Kayfabe wise, maybe even do something with the head, right? Maybe they might even do the Shawn Michaels program, right? They do the Shawn Michaels program where they did the post-concussion syndrome thing in late '95 into early '96 with Shawn Michaels, where they had him fall out on Monday Night Raw, and and everything, and they had him go off script and have him be shelled. For a few weeks, he came back to Royal Rumble and won it, to make his thing even better. So I think that could be something that could be adjusted. They did that with Daniel Bryan. The SmackDown Women's Championship, Carmella versus Becky Lynch versus Charlotte. Now, I have thought, our first instinct was that Becky Lynch was going to turn on Charlotte. But I could easily see where they would have Charlotte turn on Becky too. I could easily see that. They could have Charlotte turn on Becky. I personally kind of think that Becky needs the character change, and I think that the gullible, I don't want to say gullible, but maybe just the whole straight fire, do what's right, try to get over Becky Lynch isn't working. And guess what? Because that happened. She did everything that was right. Had one-on-one matches with everybody, beat everybody, made everybody tap out. And then she still, in the end, got screwed, right? Because her one-on-one match turned out to be a triple threat match. And she did everything right, and she got screwed. So now it's time for her to do things the not right way. And that's how she should get her championship. Is by turning heel. So I would, my prediction would be that Carmella retains her title. Carmella retains her title, and at some point, either SummerSlam or the next, or by Hell in a Cell, the next pay-per-view, the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, we're going to see, and I predict this, I'm already going to see a heel turn from Becky Lynch. And then going into WWE Evolution, we're going to see Becky Lynch versus Charlotte in some form of fashion of the match. And speaking of that, where has Naomi been? Is Naomi injured? Is Naomi okay? Because again, if Naomi is healthy, why has she not been on TV for months? So last time she was on television, she was putting over the Glow TV series. So, you know, listen, whatever. So, it is what it is. Raw Women's Championship match: Alexa Bliss versus Ronda Rousey. I've been saying for a while now, this should not be a competitive match. It is obviously going to be a competitive match. They're going to have Alexa get heat on Ronda, and try to pull out every trick in the book. Ronda's going to overcome it. They're going to win the title. That's what it should be. It does not make no other sense. Excuse me. I guess the only other thing that makes sense is that Ronda completely goes batshit crazy, and doesn't stop at a 5 count and gets disqualified. So then I guess you could say they could do Alexa Bliss and Ronda Rousey inside Hell in a Cell. Right? They can do that match inside Hell in a Cell, where Alexa, you get her comeuppance. But I would just rather Ronda Rousey take down Alexa Bliss within 5 minutes, win the Raw Women's Championship, and have her continue her being the baddest woman on the planet. Right? That's the way it gotta be. At least that's the way I would like to see it. The Universal Championship: Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. And I would, when they made this match, I was certain that we were finally going to see Roman Reigns win. Just like I was certain at WrestleMania 34. Last couple weeks, I've not been sure, because now there are rumors everywhere, every turn, that Brock really isn't really done with WWE. And the WWE doesn't want to be done with Brock Lesnar. And we have this Money in the Bank contract thing here, and it just, there was something out there earlier that, they're thinking about doing either a long match, between Lesnar and Reigns, or a short match. And the short match would obviously be Reigns just beating up Lesnar and beating him up bad and getting the title, because they're not going to squash Reigns. That was something one of the guys said on where I read. Did you see WrestleMania? I mean, they've been saying that Roman's the guy, and then that they've had him, and treated him like that at WrestleMania. So, listen, I'll say this, and for me, and I think I said this Extreme Rules in the Bobby Lashley match. I'm gonna say it here. If Roman Reigns is the guy that you want leading your company, then SummerSlam is the night that it happens. Truly, it's the night that it happens. And I'm not talking about a Braun Strowman or Kevin Owens cash in, where after a grueling match they come down and then they get beat by Reigns, and then Reigns wins the title. I'm not saying that. And I'm also not saying the exact opposite either, where that happens and then Lesnar beats them instead of beating Reigns. No. For me, this is straight up and simple. I think you give us a bit of what happens with the suplexes and everything and a couple F5. But I think Lesnar does something stupid, or he just that does something stupid. But Reigns just gets pissed off, and he commences to whooping Brock Lesnar's ass from pillar to post, from ring, outside the ring, inside the ring, whatever. And Reigns beats Lesnar. And in fact, I would be willing to I would be so okay if Lesnar didn't get one bit of offense. Didn't get one bit of offense in. If it was just 8 minutes of Reigns beating the hell out of Brock Lesnar. That's the way, at least I think it should be. Now I don't know. I'm going to predict Roman Reigns. But I now think anything can happen. And I'm not going to be surprised if Brock Lesnar comes out and wins it can retains the Universal Championship. I'm not going to be surprised. But I would say this, just like I said last month with the whole Bobby Lashley thing. If Lesnar is going to be Universal Championship, cool. But what I don't want to hear anymore is Roman Reigns coming out talking about how he's the guy, because he's not. I don't want to hear Roman Reigns coming out. I don't want to hear anything on the internet about Roman Reigns being the guy, because he's not. Because a guy is not going to be treated like he's been treated. And that's really, and if that doesn't happen, I'm still gonna be a Reigns fan. But it's him. Any talk about him being the guy from any place, kayfabe or real, it would just be bullshit. It just what it will be. Straight up. It's going to be bullshit. And finally, the WWE Championship match. AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe. Logic says that Samoa Joe wins this, right? Logic says that AJ Styles, that from what Samoa Joe has done with AJ gets over-invested, tries to instead of trying to win the match, he tries to beat up Joe. Joe takes advantage of him, chokes him out, and he becomes a new WWE champion. Logic says that. But this is the WWE. Logic said that Shinsuke Nakamura was supposed to be, AJ Styles for the championship. Logic says that Roman Reigns should beat Brock Lesnar for the championship. Logic says a lot of things that they don't do Logic. So, I think Samoa Joe should win. I'm gonna go with AJ Styles. I think AJ Styles is gonna win. And then we'll see where that happens. All right, y'all. So that is my SummerSlam predictions, and that's a shoot all-encompassing episode number 3. Post comments down below. Tell me what you guys think. Tell me what you guys thought about my predictions. Give me your predictions. Give me your thoughts on everything that I talked about, for NXT and for SummerSlam. We'll be back here next week with the same story, reviewing Raw, reviewing SmackDown, talking about some of the things that have been going on outside of WWE as well in the wrestling world. We're going to put over something. We're going to bury something. Hopefully nobody says anything stupid. Hopefully it does 2 weeks. May get a little bit into the Randy Orton situation, maybe. Just maybe we'll see what might come for that over this next week as well. as they look into allegations of sexually misconduct from Randy Orton. But that being said, that's it. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and as always, thank you guys so much for watching. Be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there. And I am out.